Okay. So, yeah. So, as I was saying, Germany is so-called the powerhouse of Europe, running the rest of Europe basically with a high industrialised complexes, all these industries. I mean, we found they were cheating with the cars, weren't they? We found they were cheating. So, you know, is that just a taste? Is Germany actually built on infirm foundations? You know, if they had this scam with, was it BMW, where they were cheating, they were just lying to you basically about how efficient the car was. Oh, it's passing all these tests. How come it passed all these tests? It's an amazing result. Well, we just fucking lie. And you're the dummschützen for believing that a car could do that. A car, wow, it's so expensive. It just must be magic, you know. The car is so expensive, you just believe it can do miracles. It can pull. No, they're just fucking lying to you. There's no possible way we can meet these standards, so we just fucking lie, and and in doing so, almost wipe out the company. So, yeah. I mean, in a Japanese chauvinistic society, that would be a hairy-carry situation, wouldn't it? You'd have to disembowel yourself in public for doing something like that. I mean, but no, not over there. You know, colour check. Yeah. Orange is about the only colour that goes with brown. Or is it the other way around? Yeah. Anyway, I carry around a small sliver or chink of orange tile to make my shit look good. Yeah, it's probably somewhere on the other side of the GFC wall. Yeah, this time, if they pull those shenanigans in Wall Street, you know, we pay the people out and we execute the people in Wall Street. That's what's going to happen this time. You know, none of this shenanigans where we pay out Wall Street and we have people losing their houses and living in their cars. No, this time we pay out the people, and we don't have Wall Street living in cars. We just send them to the gallows. We send them by express post to Jesus for judgment. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to have. We're going to have some bread and we're going to make bread and circuses great again, I think. We're making gallows great again. Yeah, I think that's what needs to be done. Geez, I must have been walking for, you know, it must be getting close to school time now. Yeah, a good 2 hours, I think. So, anyway, we'll see how we go. Got the old champ. Anyway, down here I found some liverworts growing out of the outfall here. So we might just sneak in here, as we do. Oh, we can hear the mole crickets to my right. The mole crickets to my right. Jokers to my left. Yeah, there's a bit of radioactivity in the area. It sounds like that, doesn't it? So we had this was flowing the other day, but we came down here. And it goes all the way down here. Notice the colour of the soil. It's not brown, it's a nice grey colour. And somewhere along here we have some liverworts. Yeah. Down there, liverworts. And if I go to spot Cullen, as we often do, we've got some nice liverworts there. These were actually growing slightly under the flow of the water, sort of thing. So that was interesting. But they're growing on nice grey sort of looking soil. So as I was saying to Joel the other day, I'm getting the impression that the reason CPs are so hard to grow and liverworts are so hard to grow when you want to grow them, where and when you want to grow them, you know, Okay, the liverworts out there in the wild seem to grow year in, year out, where they do, when they do, year in, year out sort of thing. Like if I keep going back to that spot, next year, year after, there'll be liverworts there. They seem to be maintained at the site, sort of thing. And a bit like the glid, the glid site. The glid grows there year in, year out. You might have bad years and good years, but you're still there, sort of thing. And they just seem to grow there, seem to have their location, sort of thing. And I'm getting the impression that, as I said before with CPs, they seem to have CPs and CP related weeds, and you'll have areas where you'll just have the CP related weeds, and then you'll have CP related weeds and CPs growing together, and then you have areas where you just have the CPs, no CP related weeds. And I'm thinking, how could we rationalise this? And I'm thinking, well, most weeds, as you probably know, are so-called nitrate plants. They talk about weeds of roadside verve and disturbed ground and soil and things like that. They fall into this category of being nitrate plants. I'm wondering whether it goes a little bit deeper and further than that. We have this concept of carbon disulfide plants and nitrate plants. So you've got to have both. And if you only have one, you only have one sort. If you have the other sort, you have the other sort. And then if you have them together, you can have both plants growing together. So if you have carbon disulfide coming off in the soil as well. Because Climo, in his little tome about bog swamps and peatlands, or whatever it was called, he made this strange statement somewhere early on. It was almost like a cautionary, it seemed like it was a cautionary tale from his early past or thing, as a young investigator and naturalist come researcher or thing. Sort of like, just because it smells like just because it smells like rotten egg doesn't necessarily mean that it's H2S. And I've been thinking about this for years, actually now, years, and I'm thinking, yeah, carbon disulfide smells like rotten egg gas, has all the same so-called dangerous properties. So you want to find a natural way of having it generated in the soil. You don't really want, because if you know with some of these videos where they sort of like, Fierce Flora has a video, I think, up on YouTube, where he runs his finger along I think it's a filiformis or something like that, and it just suddenly goes red following his finger. It's a time-lapsed shot, but he runs his finger across the thing, and it just follows his finger and goes red, and after that you get these buds coming out. And I'm thinking, what could he be rubbing along there that could do that? And I'm thinking, well, the only thing I could think of that might fit the bill is carbon disulfide, because that's the thing about these so-called nitrate plants. The nitrate doesn't have to be in the form of salts. It could be just in the form of nitric acid in the soil, and that would explain the great acidity of the soil. It's just nitric acid, a natural nitric acid in the soil, making the soil very acidic. Because if you go back to the 1958 Robertson Oostings paper, who eventually became Oostings and Oostings, I think they got married or something. I don't know what went. It was after the war. We always like to cut them a bit of slack, having served in the silver culture industry during wartime, probably growing the trees to make the butts for the rifles and other stuff, and the butts for everything else, and for wood in the plains and things like that, to make them lighter. We always like to cut them some slack about there. I don't know what went on. But they were saying there were some areas that are even more acidic, and they even went to places like known serpentine areas like White Lakes, yeah. I was thinking of White Sands, but I think it's White Lakes, which had plants growing underwater for, known to be growing underwater for at least 10 years, if not longer. So growing in the pond underwater, still growing happily, year in, year out, producing traps underwater. So what's so special about the water over there? I mean, as I said, pirates used to come into these places, into these pockets and areas, and load up their barrels with water, because it would always stay more potable than ordinary water. So for longer, you know, they could store it for 8 months or more before it went off. So yeah, so you just dip into one of these pockets and areas, fill up your barrels with the water, and you can go for another 8 months or so, you know, voyaging across the ocean. Anyway, I think that's about it. I'm almost home now. So. As I said, I'll just cross over the road and just film this last bit over here, I think. And that'll be it, I think. Oh, new solar panels over there. Well, that's new. So people are definitely putting their money where their heart is with the solar panels. But as you said, we've got this point of distinction now. That bloke didn't even slow down. We got his license plate number. Jesus, I'm walking across the public crossing and he didn't even slow down. Bloody hell. I mean, they ask us to use the public crossing for a reason, and I do that, and the bloody... I mean, I wasn't jaywalking, I was using the public crossing. Oh, Jesus. These people, oh, well, is the cop going to turn up at his house and say, give me your licence? Why? And he takes the scissors and goes, well, you're not driving for the next 6 months. You almost ran over someone on a public crossing. You didn't even slow down. What? Yeah, we've seen the footage online. It's on YouTube. Is this your license plate number? Bang to rights, as they say. Oh, no, just... Anyway, yeah, you've got graffiti down there, so, yeah, so... Anyway, so as the point of distinction is, we're going to make a minimum wage in line with inflation, so no one's poor. People can still buy veggies. Farmers can still sell veggies to the public. I mean... Oh, seems crazy, isn't it? So how's our cyanide fighter? It's probably not coming yet, but when it does start growing back here, the cyanide fighter, I'll film it. But it needs a bit of water. But it seems to grow very quickly early on when the rains do get here, and yeah, it's not here. You see patches of this sort of cyanide fighter. No, it's not sort of... It's a bit like the liverworts. It comes back in a few days, you know? Grows really fast. Almost like it's using the... using the process of poikilohydry to make 1,000 times wetter. Which is how liverworts can basically come back from the dead sort of thing. And so can wasps and things like that. But they say if you put silicate on...